Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bat Community Call for Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. It's 2 o'clock Pacific. Hope you all have been having a good week and had a good Labor Day weekend. And yeah, I think we'll give folks maybe another minute or so, but things have been good on this end. Let's see here. There is. All right.
How you doing, Luke?
What's that?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing, Nicholas?
I'm doing pretty dang good. I think I told you last community call, or maybe it was I was talking in the ambassador call, but I mentioned that I was like doing like IRL community initiatives, like with a block party and
Oh, yeah.
whatnot. Yeah, it happened on the third, and oh, it was perfect. It was perfect. It was amazing.
Nice, nice. What did you guys do? Just kind of like a meetup, or like did you do like? Well, tell me more about it.
Well, basically, at least in New York, usually the block parties are, you get a permit from the city and you close down the block and all the cars are out, no cars can come down, etc. And people bring out, their own tables and tents and grills. And we picked a venue and we got two rides. We got a magician, we got two performers for the kids. We got glitter paint for the kids, a
Nice.
bunch of stuff like that. Yeah, and it was really nice, especially because, like I said last time, there's so many people here that are new. And the world's such a crazy place nowadays that it's a bit hard to take that first step to connect with everybody. And it was really, gratifying to see all these families who didn't really link up before, all sitting together, laughing, having a good time, sharing stories. And it's nice,
Nice.
you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you.
Great to hear it went well. Hey, Carlos, how you doing, man?
What's up, everybody? How's it going? I just signed in. Was there a bat block party in New York and I was not involved?
I think so. I think you and Nicholas.
No, no, it was just it was just a regular block party, not
Oh,
a
it
bad
wasn't a
block
bad block
party.
party.
I was
No,
about to
no,
say
that'd be
that
cool.
I
That'd be
heard
cool if it was a bad block party.
I heard that a block party in New York. I brown bat. That would have been a great thing. Nah, man, doing well. Just still nose to the grindstone. We're prepping for mainnet. We have a pretty good presentation coming up there, talking about the importance of the browser wallet. I'm working on that today and tomorrow. And yeah, we're just hitting some other conferences for AI and such. I think one of our colleagues, Max, might be going out permissionless also. Yeah, just doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes and just really, really pushing hard. Luke
You
knows very well. We were having a very animated conversation right before this.
you're going to Breakpoint too, right?
I am going to go to Breakpoint. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. My wife is not, since it's in Halloween, but sacrifices must be made to go to Amsterdam, I guess.
Oh man, I hate to see what you all come to this time. Maybe it'll be a cat or something.
No, I already have a cat. It might be another puppy.
Oh man, too many. Right on, man. Well, it's always good to have you here. And yeah, and oh, Sherelle's here too. How's it going, Sherelle?
Hey everyone, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
So no big updates from my side. We are talking to Xborg, and we had a great call with them today. So for those of you who don't know, Xborg is our community gaming partner. We've been doing some events with them, and now we are working with them on a platform. It's the questing platform, and kind of seeing where that can go as phase two of our partnership with them. So I will keep you guys posted with details as they come.
Awesome. Cool. Let's see. Is we got Drew here? No. Bows, I see you here. Did you get to meet up with Jenny in Montreal?
Yeah, I had a good time. Had pretty much a whole week of vacation. It was pretty nice. Met up with her, met up with Chris Cat. Um, So I met up with a decent amount of people. We had a pretty good time.
Awesome.
I didn't know she was going to send me a photo. Don't know if she ever did.
Yeah, I got it. I was keeping it low profile because I didn't want to dox you out there, but it was awesome to see.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It's always nice to put a face to a name. I mean, I'd already met Jenny before, but I hadn't met Chris before, so.
Excellent.
But yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and Belladone has a good point. A good question. Can we have the Brave X account show the community call so Guillermo can draw live again? So actually, brings me back to a good point. And Jenny and I actually been meeting with the comms team internally on this too. So we I think it was discussed a couple weeks ago too, the ambassadors and folks were helping on kind of a comm strategy around the primary BAT account. So I think it's got over 260,000 followers, I believe, or something like that. For a while there, it was neck and neck with the Brave account. But basically, like Jenny and I met with our head of comms and with our social media folks internally, and we're gonna start doing that. So I think that the community will have a chance to kind of get help, and that Jenny can help coordinate with that, with everybody, with the ambassadors and such around, what do you want to see us tweet? And aside from that, we have a bunch of content that has been getting produced and will be scheduled in there too. But the whole idea is to get more opportunistic with stuff with the primary BAT Twitter accounts, and that includes promoting stuff like this community call and other things like that too. So stay tuned for that. That was we had a call. I think it was a meeting last week with the team on that, and they were super excited that we'd be doing it. So I think Jenny's tying up some formalities around that, and then we should be full speed ahead on that, which is pretty cool. And as far as news and things go, I think that we had I was trying to have Brian Clifton from our team come on to the call today. I think he might make it, or if he doesn't make it today, maybe next week. But he worked on our VPN and a bunch of other areas that we had questions on from people last week. So working on that. And there's some news around Chrome's now going to begin targeting people based on their browsing history with topics and such. So the account was tweeting that out today, which is just seems like, well, they're saying it's to help preserve privacy, but I think that what folks don't realize is that if you're not blocking all that third-party stuff, it's actually probably worse. But anyway, so there's some news on that front. I think Carlos, is there any news on Wallet coming out that I'm missing? Anything that comes to mind?
I don't think so. No, I think everything. Yeah, I know some improvements are going to land soon.
Mm-hmm.
That as far as I know, any big things on 2.0? No, not really. I think everything's pretty online.
Yeah, I think that's right. So we got some stuff going on with search and on the ad side. That's where I've been spending a lot of time.
I mean, wait, sorry, Luke. We are announcing at mainnet, which I can't really speak to right now. But
yeah. Can't blow the lid on that one, but
yeah.
Other than to tell people to tune into mainnet, that would make sense. Bow's asked if any updates on the Gemini interface integration issue, and when is mainnet, Carlos?
September 20th. So within 25 days. Yeah, we'll be there. We got a whole crew going. If you're in NYC, let us know.
I don't have an updates on the Gemini situation other than what Chris updated last week. But I think, everybody's just getting back from holiday yesterday. So let me see if I can get them to tweet something out this week. C-Ray, unless you have an update, which I'm guessing you might.
I just was actually working on that. So I had checked status.brave and saw that it said everything was up and running. So I reached out to Chris Cat. What he is saying is that right now it is up for existing users. He's saying new users will see the Gemini option grayed out. So new users will not be able to link their accounts to it, but anyone that was existing should be able to log in and connect again.
Cool.
I could actually see I could see Gemini reconnected.
Great. Here we go. Let's see. And let me see if Jenny is here. I don't see Jenny here yet. So we can just kind of open it up for questions for folks, unless anybody, I skipped anybody. Belladone, how you doing? It's good to see you. Pat Nicholas.
This is completely unrelated to what you were talking about, but you know how this is like, Luke's AMA. And sometimes you bring other people on from Brave to participate in that AMA aspect.
Yes, sir.
Do you think there's a possibility of getting people like the, founder of Xborg to come on here and do an AMA?
Yeah, I mean, I think let us know like who you want to see here, and we'd be happy to do that. I know we do the spaces too on Twitter, but this is kind of nice because it's more, I don't know, it's more kickback, kind of less Twitter. I think like if you guys and ambassadors like have folks you want to see here or members of the team too, I think Clifton's going to try to make it today, but if he doesn't make it today, maybe next week. But that's what I've been trying to do is rally up some additional teammates to come on and talk. Like we had Kyle on a couple of weeks ago, and get more and more folks on from different areas of the company. But if there are folks like within Brave you'd like to see on the call, like give us a shout, let us know. And same with any partners too that we have that you'd like to see here too, because normally they like engaging with the community. So we welcome it. Just let us know. Half the battle is not knowing what you guys want us to do. So speak up and let us know.
Yeah, no, it'd be cool because I remember last ambassador call I had some like critical critiques of Xborg, and it would be wild if the founder could get on one of these calls so I could kind of go for the head of the dragon in public,
Yeah.
Nothing bad, but just like you know me, I'm a very curious dude. I like to poke and prod to try and learn things here and there. So yeah.
No, that's a great point. That's a great point. I don't know, Sherelle, what do you think? You're closest on that partnership. You think that they'd be game to come on?
I would think so. I think they're enthusiastic to work with us.
Yeah. Like you were saying, there was like a community platform they're working on too, and they want to do more with us. So sounds good.
And yes,
Yeah.
Dave, the expert chief is in their Discord all the time. So if you guys ever have questions, if you can't get them from us, we'll definitely be able to pass it on to export and get a response quick.
Cool. C-Ray, I see you got a hand up.
Well, I wanted to say, I've made a few requests. Have you heard from Pez lately, Pete?
Yeah, I was working with him. I tried to get him on today, but he's working on like a bunch of stuff that's on deadline, so I couldn't get him on today. And then I put in a note to Kyle too on security, and then I think Clifton would be good on VPN because he helped work on the desktop side especially too. And so he might actually still show up today, but if he doesn't come today, I'm see if I can pull him in for next week. But then we'd be up for any other suggestions too. And I think he also Clifton might be able to answer Arnyanka's question that I think is going to come up in a second about 2FA. But Arnyanka, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing all right.
I just came on to the meeting. I heard something about 2FA.
Well, I was hoping that I could have Clifton from our team who worked on a lot of this stuff answer today. I think he might make it today. If he doesn't make it today, trying to get him on for next week. But
Okay.
but yeah, then he could give you a better answer than what I've been able to give you.
Sweet. All right. Sounds good.
What
No
else?
other questions?
No other questions?
No.
Cool.
Sorry, what you're going to ask me something? What else?
No other question. No, I just seeing how you're doing. That's all.
Oh, I'm doing good. I just woke up from a nap, so it's gonna be starting work tonight, later tonight.
Nice. Cool. How many of you folks or I'd be curious to hear like how many folks are out there like doing stuff on L2s right now or fiddling around with any. I think it's a bear market, so
Mainly just a bat boy.
I don't know what happened there. Must have got disconnected. Ben Nicholas, you got a hand up?
Yeah, it was unrelated to your question though. Is that all good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna give you a quick thanks for the appreciation towards that bat themed phone setup I made.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of it. What's it called? And for the events that I'm gonna be doing, if there's anything that revolves a controller, I was thinking of getting a controller with a bat themed color scheme or Brave themed,
That'd be sweet.
like orange and white. That would
That'd
be
be excellent. Yeah. Awesome. I see Jenny's here. How's it going, Jenny?
I couldn't find my tab. I'm sorry. Hello. How's everyone doing? I'm doing well. How's everyone else? Yeah?
Yeah.
Everyone in US and Canada, did you have a nice Labor Day?
I did.
You, Lou?
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I think it looks like Bows might have mentioned it. I just hopped on, but I'm seeing the chat. I got to hang out with Bows last week again.
Yeah, how
in
was that?
Montreal. Yeah, it was really cool. Actually, I hung out with Bows and Chris from the rewards team, and yeah, we went to get dumplings. We went out for dinner a couple of times, and then we went to Old Montreal and just walked around and toured. And yeah, it was Bows's second time visiting Montreal this summer, so we've gotten to hang out a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah,
The weather was so nice too. Oh my gosh.
oh yeah, the weather was perfect, and it got even hotter after you left. It was like 30 degrees Celsius yesterday. I was melting.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, it's like we had like record heat the last like day or two where I'm at. So
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like an Indian summer right now. But I do have some updates to share.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So I've spoken a little bit over the past couple of weeks about this community events portal that we're putting together, where the community will be able to track and RSVP to BAT ambassador led and other community events. And that is almost ready to be revealed. And it might need another week of work or so, but we're really getting there with it. And yeah, like I said, you'll be able to. Oh, thank you. Yeah, anyway, so stay tuned. But remember, you can always check out our Twitter highlights on the BAT community Twitter for upcoming events and also past event recaps in the meantime. So just wanted to let you guys know that that's coming very soon. And then I have a little content update as well. Sometimes on these calls and just generally in the community, people ask for updated video tutorials. A while ago, me and Chris worked on a series of videos, Brave browser feature tutorials and walkthroughs that you can find on our YouTube channel. Many of them are out of date though. As you know, our features get updated all the time. And so many of them are borderline obsolete. And so we are redoing some of these tutorials and walkthroughs, starting with the Brave Rewards explainer video, because we all know Brave Rewards has changed a lot in the past year or so. And so the new and improved walkthrough will coincide with the introduction of our new rewards custodian partner later this month. And not only will we be releasing the updated walkthrough in English, but Paola will also be helping us with a Spanish voiceover. Yeah, so we can release it in Spanish too. So that's coming down the pike. And then in addition to that, in a couple of weeks, me, Sherelle, I believe Carlos, and some other team members will be heading to the MainNet conference in New York City. And if you all didn't know, Brave is a gold sponsor of the MainNet event, meaning that we will have a booth at the expo staffed by the aforementioned team members doing product demos and networking and the like. So if you're going to be around, you can come say hello, chat with us. And as part of the sponsorship, we also have a few presentations. I believe Carlos will be giving one. I don't know if he's here on the call today and if he's ready to share about that, but if he is, maybe he wants to share some more details himself. But in addition to that, our Chief Information Security Officer, Yan Zhu, will be participating in a panel on the 22nd called Beyond Protocols, Why Browser Tools Will Drive Crypto Adoption. So that's pretty exciting. I'm not sure if it'll be recorded, but I'll share the link in case you're planning on attending the event. You can RSVP to the panel, and you can check us out on the sponsorship page as well. So I'm going to share those links in the chat. But yeah, I hope to see some of you there at the Mainnet conference. Sadly, our ambassador, King Nicholas, who lives in New York, won't be in town during Mainnet.
Unfortunately.
Too bad, but hopefully next time we'll get to see you.
That would be sick.
Yeah. And then I believe Battern, I don't believe he was able to make it to the call today, but he has the meme contest winners from last week, and he will announce them on Twitter tomorrow.
Cool. And I told some folks too that I gave them an update on some of the Bat Twitter stuff from the call we had last week with the comms and social media folks. So I don't know if there's any detail on that you want to share. I kind of gave them a high level that, see some more activity coming from that account soon, but.
Yeah, I think we can keep it high level for now.
Okay.
I'll just say expect to see more original content coming from that account. And beyond that, if there's anything that you think is important for BAT or that you would like to see coming from that account, let us know, because we want to incorporate feedback from our power users here and valued community. So yeah, don't be shy to let us know if there's anything that you think we should be sharing there and that you don't see coming out of there in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Excellent. Any other updates, or are we doing spaces this week?
We are doing spaces this week. Is Drew here?
I don't think Drew's here.
Okay, wait, hang on a second. I will double check who's on spaces this week, and I will share it in a moment.
Cool. Sounds good. Let's see here. All right, we've got. I think Clifton might actually show up in a couple of minutes, which would be super cool. Let's see here. There was one other person I was going to ask a question to, and I'm spacing, so much for that. All right. Oh, Christopher. Is that Christopher Rewards, Christopher?
Yes, it is.
How you doing, man?
Good. Allergy season, but other than that, okay.
Brutal. Like, how are things going? Any news from Rewards that the folks here might be interested in hearing?
I think the main thing to mention is that the Gemini integration has been re-enabled for existing users. So if you were connected to Gemini, you should be able to re-auth now. That is re-log in and see your balance and make tips and so on. However, it remains disabled for new users. So new users will see it grayed out. And we're still working with the Gemini team to see when they'll be ready to re-enable it for new users.
Awesome. That's great. And I think Clifton's here now too. Brian Clifton from our engineering team, who's been here maybe even longer than me. I don't know. I remember we both had the same kind of impromptu lunch interview years ago with the team. But we had been getting some good questions around kind of like browser security, VPN, etc. And so I invited Clifton to come join us today, and wanted to get to know the community a little bit better, and to take questions from folks if you all have them, because I know that you all had questions about VPN, etc. But I don't know, Clifton, maybe you want to maybe you could give folks a little bit of background on you and what you do at Brave, for folks who might not be familiar.
Yeah, sure thing. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you can hear you great.
Okay. Yeah, hey, so thanks for having me. My first time here. Yeah, I've been here for 7 years. I think you joined just a little bit after me, like a different start date, but we interviewed and all that stuff around the same time. So back in 2016. So been there since the early days. Yeah, I used to just work on a lot of code, started taking on management. That was with our old Muon browser, the Electron fork. yeah, and then we got into the actual proper Chromium fork, and so helped get into there. And yeah, right now, basically, my title is VP of Engineering. So I do the management of teams for the desktop, Android, and iOS development. So mostly the general development. There's a separate person, basically Bondi, Brian Bondi, CTO. He gets to manage the wallet teams and some of the AI efforts we're doing, and a lot of other things too. And we work together a lot. So yeah.
And then before Brave, you were at GoDaddy, right?
I was at GoDaddy, yeah, for 8 years.
Yeah.
And before that, Intel. So yeah, it's been
Awesome.
great.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's see here. Yeah, anybody have any questions for Clifton? I know that there were some about VPN stuff. Aranyanka's got a question. Jump on in, Aranyanka.
Look. Oh,
Hello?
good. Okay. Yeah, I got some questions about the VPN. I'm wondering if you're familiar with um, like how we can integrate VPN to work um, on all devices. I have VPN access on web browser, but whenever I press restore on the VPN on my iOS device, it seems to lag out, and it hasn't been working for several weeks now. Is there
Okay.
is there a way to um to fix this?
Yes. So if you got it on desktop, then you should definitely be able to use it on mobile. And this is, I apologize for this. We could definitely make this much easier to discover. It's not easy right now. Like we have some UX user experience pains. Basically, when you hit the restore button on any mobile device, it's thinking that you're trying to restore it from the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store, respectively. So if you're on iOS or Android. So with those cases, like you probably didn't purchase it on iOS, and so if you're hitting restore, it's probably trying to find the receipt and not finding it. So the part that's not clear is what you would do is on the device, you would go to account.brave.com on the phone, and then you can log in and you'll see your VPN, and then you can say refresh VPN, or it should just actually load up. And once it loads up, you're good to go on your phone, and it should be good for 30 days. You might have to log in after that. We're trying to fix that too. As long as you log in, it should refresh after that period of time. So hope that helps. It's definitely not completely obvious, and there's also a little bit of trouble too when you go to account.brave.com. It'll kick you back to your email to get a like a magic link to log in, and so it's a little bit. Yeah, thanks, C-Ray, for posting that. That goes over the exact steps, so you might just check that one out. Thanks for that question.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And I just got other questions about VPN. Since I've been using it, do you happen to know if there's going to be like better integration with for the user? So, for example, the question I had last week, unfortunately you weren't there, was regarding different servers within different countries. So if I'm in Canada and I wanted to use perhaps like a West Coast VPN server just for speed and reliability, I'm not able to do that. I'm only given the option to use a VPN from Toronto, so east side of Canada.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Okay,
is
yeah.
that
So
because I know with the US there's USA Central, East, Northwest, West options, but again, like even with those um, locations, the user can't choose which servers they could use.
yeah,
So
so kind of like a lack of West Coast Canada coverage, basically. So we are
yeah,
definitely working with the partner, and they're adding more servers. And so some of the recent ones they've added were like Brazil, Italy. I think they added Spain also. I'll definitely raise this. I talk to the vendors once a week, and
mhm,
I can work with them on that one.
yeah,
And
'cause-
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So I've used other VPN servers, VPN providers before, and one of the good things I found was being able to selectively choose which servers to pick, and that just boils down to like reliability. Sometimes the server may be lagging in one area, and then being able to access a different server of my own choosing kind of helps. You know,
Well, that's good too. I wonder if that's something that I can ask them about too, or something like, let's say that data center is broken into VLANs. Maybe there's a way to choose something on VLAN 1, VLAN 2, just to get if you notice the issue before they do, then at least it gives you a way to try to get yourself fixed.
yeah,
That's a good concern.
yeah.
Kind of a bigger thing that you alluded to a little bit with the integration. That we do have some plans, and I have to scope it out still, but we do have some integration for the browser and VPN that would be unique to Brave, where um, if you're on a phone, you can do split tunneling, and you can say for use the VPN for these apps, don't use it for these apps. So we want to do something like this too on desktop. And so the use case is that came up, and this is why we had thought of it, is that I talked with some people in Russia, and so those people were saying that they have to use like a VPN to get to the rest of the world sometimes, and then if they're
Mhm.
using a VPN, they can't access the stuff in Russia, and so they were saying like, why don't you have a per site VPN, or be able to control what interface the adapter it goes out on when it makes the call.
I see.
That's something we can totally do too. So
Yeah.
like it's just going to take a little bit of work to scope that, and we would like to do that. So we're hardening up our WireGuard integration on Windows right now. Then we're going to start
Okay.
getting into Mac OS, and yeah, then we'll start looking at these features. So
Sure. Yeah. The WireGuard integration was my other question, but it seems like it's being worked on. And then I got just one more question. I noticed with other VPNs, there's a kill switch option. Is that Do you know if Guardian has a kill switch integration, or is that gonna have to be kind of implemented through Brave VPN to have
So
that?
that's implemented on iOS, and then for Mac OS, we have an implementation that works, but it is a little bit weird. So that's another user experience issue that we're kind of troubleshooting. Where because of the way it works, if you try to turn the VPN off from your OS or anywhere that's not Brave, the OS will turn VPN back on again. So if you turn it on in
Mhm.
Brave, you have to turn it off in Brave too, and it's not obvious that you need to do that. So
Right.
we'll have to address that to make it a little bit more obvious. Android, we already are wanting to do that and have this. There's something called Always On, and that's an option you can pick for the VPN. And I think we just have to support a certain interface in the code, and then it should become available. So we
Okay.
do have an issue for that. We just need to prioritize that and grab it.
Okay. Yeah. Because I did notice that whenever I close my Mac and 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 just like reuse it, the VPN doesn't automatically turn on. It's something I have to toggle constantly on whenever I stop
Oh,
using the
okay.
device. Mhm.
Yeah, the WireGuard. Basically, when we introduce WireGuard on Windows, this is going to have its own little tray icon program too. So it should automatically reconnect after you wake up your computer and stuff like that. The WireGuard integration gives us more hooks into the service. So the actual Windows integration is pretty sad and sorry. It's like code that is from the old days, like Windows NT and NT4 and Windows 2000. It's
See.
all phone book based or whatever for their old system, RAS. But anyways, like yeah, the WireGuard won't be great.
Okay. And then just one more question, and I'll let C-Ray talk. Um, is there any plans to be able to use Brave VPN for our routers? I've noticed with other VPNs, there were files that I could download, for example, like it was like .ovpn or something like that, and I was able to run uh,
Yeah,
the VPN using my router, and I thought that would just be an amazing integration for users who want to switch from whatever VPN they have to Brave VPN.
No, that's a good one. So just being able to get the config details, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
That's a great
great.
one. I had that use case too, where I set it on my router so that way all the network gets that same one too. I'll bring that one to the vendor too, and just and then to our team too. So we have Raphael on desktop, and we have Anthony on Android and iOS. So I'll see what they think about that. Like maybe there's a unique way to present it that we can get those details to the user or download the config. So
Yeah.
that would actually be great to get something. Yeah, so that you could use it with OpenVPN or whatever you want. Basically, it has
Yeah.
to support IKE v2 or WireGuard.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Cool. I see C-Ray's got a hand up. Go ahead, C-Ray.
Yeah, I had three things I was going to dip into, and I think he might have touched on one, and that was we did have people asking if it would be possible to use the Brave VPN without having to have Brave open. So if they wanted to use it through other programs, they didn't see that as a possibility. Is that something we're looking at?
So that one, yes, absolutely you can, and there's nothing needed for that now. So as soon as you connect, whatever OS you're on, if you're on Android, iOS, or if you're on desktop, and you go ahead and connect in Brave, you actually can close Brave out and you still use the VPN. And we would actually have to do work to make it not work like that. So basically, when you're in Windows, for example, if you hit the Windows key and type VPN, you'll find like there's a VPN, system VPN, and it will have the connection in there. Our new WireGuard version is going to have the tray program, so even when you're outside of Brave, it'll have this. It runs as a service. And then yeah, for Android and iOS, they're also there too. So if you just check your system for the VPN, you'll find the config details there too. So you definitely do not have to be in Brave to use it.
Okay, so that's something I hadn't messed with enough. One of the other things I was going to touch into is for UX design. Lately on Community, I still see occasionally people struggling with how to cancel their subscriptions. Um, of knowing whether they have to go to their like app store with an Android or iOS or to navigate to account.brave.com. Even some of them that have claimed they've gone into the account, Brave account and canceled and still got charged. Is there anything we can do to simplify it to where perhaps they can do it through the VPN button itself instead of having to navigate to all these other different locations?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the desktop one is a little bit more straightforward, where we can easily link to the account.brave.com. And once we're there, if we don't have a way to cancel in the UI, that means we have a problem, like a bug, and that shouldn't happen. It probably does happen, but it shouldn't happen. The other cases are a little bit more difficult because usually you have to cancel those subscriptions. I mean, I think 100% you have to cancel those subscriptions from the respective services. So like on iOS and Android, it could be a little bit crazy to find those. You have to find your subscriptions, like open the Play Store app or open the App Store app, and then go to subscriptions and cancel it. But hopefully, if you're on Mac OS already, like there's an easy way to get there. We could definitely document that, and I think we do have help articles that we link to. If you link your iOS or Android device, like basically Arankaya has shared earlier, basically, if you wanted to just log in on your phone to account.brave.com, and then you're using your desktop's one on your phone, or I guess it would be the other way around. If you want to share your iOS with desktop, if you do that, it'll put a little icon that like an Apple or the Android robot. And if you try to cancel it, you can't cancel there because you have to go to the store. And so we have a link out to a help article. Yeah. So if you buy it in the respective app store, link it to account.brave.com. That's a case we definitely do have a link to documentation, but we could do better and probably have that pinned in the forums.
Okay, which I know I'll go through, and I've been seeing a mixture. It's just like somebody, and I was trying to find it here to link you, but I'm not finding it easily. Had said that they'd even gone through and canceled, ahead of time, and they had shown like the date that they canceled, but then they were still charged after the fact. And I think it was through Apple iOS. They were saying that it was too late; they couldn't be refunded, and then when it was coming through Brave, they couldn't be helped.
Yeah, the
So it
app
was some
stores are
weird.
nasty. They're real nasty. If it's like more than 10 days or something like that, I think they say nope.
Right. So in any case, there was that, and the third thing then I'll jump on is last week I think it was somebody was asking about a comparison of Brave VPN or Guardian compared to others like Proton and all that, and how it's supposedly better or how it rates any testing done. I can't find anything online either. Is that something that we can kind of throw together to be able to have for people?
So like testing like basically proof or authentication that they are destroying the stuff and it's been certified that they're destroying the logs or not recording the logs, that kind of thing, or like I don't think that there's been a formal review of their stuff by any big companies yet. I know that's something that basically Guardian would like to do. There hasn't been any, you know, where you hire an independent company to come in that has no relationship with your company and they do a review and certify that yes they say they do what they say they do. That's definitely on their roadmap. They want to do that. I haven't gotten any date or anything attached to that. I do know just like from personal experience and like seeing when they share their screen and stuff like that, the logs are deleted. Like, or if like basically generic logs are deleted, logs about a person, any identifiable information, it's never logged. So basically, just basic web server things. Like when I make API calls out to them, that gets logged as if it's a 200 or a 500 or whatever. But none of the customer stuff ever gets logged. So like I've seen that, but it would be great to have an accreditation or something like this.
Right, which there would be that, and I wish I could remember who had asked, but I think the other part of it is the overall performance. You know how some of them will like slow down your internet compared to when you're connected versus others have that rapid and quick. Um, I'm trying to think of the word, the speed. So I think it's just
Yeah,
anything like that. Any comparison between like any of the competitors. I mean, right now there's like nothing written on it beyond, hey, we're going to provide you VPN, and oh, it supposedly helps reduce against trackers and everything. Take our word for it. That's all we're going to tell you. And I think that's where people is looking at is, do we have more info anywhere?
yeah, that's a good question. So kind of related to that, for the first one is like with performance. I don't think we have any like case studies or anything to show the speed differences, but that is a really common thing that hosting providers will do is oversubscribe. And so, since people can be in this region in Mexico and watch Netflix there or whatever, but they might be on there with 1,000 or 2,000 people on that same VM or whatever, and they're going to get bad performance. It's going to get throttled. So there's only so much throughput a server can do. So yeah, it would be good to have some of that. I'll see if I can get some data there. The second one there that you kind of were asking about with oh gosh, what was the last thing you said, Siri? I'm sorry, I just
The
like
last bit was about like the trackers and everything. I
the
think we
trackers,
said that it
the
does it
trackers.
better, yeah, through the
Yeah,
firewall.
so they are storing network attributes like about how many things were blocked, and we do have some insight into that. And so that is a next step we can take, and we can basically add more information to the Brave new tab page screen because we will know that you're making this connection, and with that session ID that you're connected with, which they don't know who that session ID belongs to, we can see what trackers were blocked or how many trackers were blocked with that subscriber ID. And we can get that number and also show that basically alongside the number of ads blocked, number of time saved, that kind of thing. So that is definitely on our radar. We want to show that on the Privacy Center for mobile. And so I believe there might be some of this already showing on iOS, but we haven't got to the other platforms yet.
Okay, awesome. And actually, I did just remember one other. I know when it comes to places like God, Netflix and everything, some actually are blocking based on VPN. So if you try going to their site while connected to a VPN, you can't. Is that something that we should expect here eventually that these are going to fall under, or should these be able to remain a little bit different?
So they are actively working on that, and so they've basically the CEO, or I guess now they're with DNS Filter, but the previous CEO, Will, he provided some proof that like they have some specific servers set up, like they rack their own servers, and they are working on relationships to get the right kind of IPs that they need to provide this functionality. So from a support perspective, we have a list of a lot of sites that we already know are blocked, and it's not exclusively streaming sites. There's also ones like USPS.com where they'll block it, and a couple other things that are pretty popular. And so we need to get all of those cases working, and when we do, that'll get us, HBO Go and Netflix and stuff like that too. I think it might be against the law to market circumvention of it, but we can always have partners disclose that that's a possible use case. Like if there's a YouTube promoter saying it, I think that we're allowed to say that, but I don't think we can say, hey, you just use this to get around your region and just watch whatever you want all the time, because that might be illegal to talk about.
All right,
But good progress being made. It's cool.
I think one of the other questions too, Clifton, that came up was around support for Linux on the VPN, and do we know what current status of that, and or plans or anything around that?
Yeah, good call. So basically, our desktop is built on top of something called SKU, the storekeeping unit, and so this is kind of the whole system we stood up, which it's not super visible, but it's like the browser equivalent of what's in account.brave.com. So your orders, purchases, and all that stuff. So we got it working across the board. It's not currently compiled into Linux, so we got to get that going. It already works on Linux. We have already tested it, but just need to test it again. Then it was actually time to do the integration. And so there's not really a standard way of doing VPN when I was looking at it, and given the smaller size, but WireGuard is built into the kernel. So now that we've gotten past getting the system VPNs on Windows and Mac OS, WireGuard is where we want to get going. It wasn't initially an option, but with Linux, it's like built in. So we're in pretty good shape for when that time comes. It will be after Mac OS, and so we're currently working through Mac OS.
Cool.
ETA. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I would say it's tough to put a date on it. Like the Mac OS one's going to be at least 3 months. So after that, basically.
Fair enough.
TM.
Cool. Anyone, you have other question?
Yeah, I just got a question as not regarding VPN. It's actually for Brave's password manager. 1 second. Sorry. Is there any updates with regards to two-factor authentication? I know with Brave's password manager, it has access or has the ability to do passkeys, but I just found it quite weird where the two-factor authentication hasn't been integrated into the password manager.
Oh, that's a good question. We haven't done anything native for that. We haven't done too many enhancements to the passwords. Basically, with Chromium 115 and newer, there's been pushes by the Chromium project to get that UI more sorted out. And so we are wanting to take advantage of that. Like one of the things coming up, I think in 118, maybe it is, I think you can pin the password screen as a PWA on desktop. And then when you open it, it'll be like it's its own password manager app. It'll expose the right things about being an application. And then you can also get access to the same browser credentials that you would usually use in Brave or in Chrome. So that's something coming. But yeah, that is a good one. Basically capturing the TOTP secrets.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if there's an issue for that. And if there's not, I'll log an issue for that.
Okay, because I know if people are trying to move away from Chrome or Firefox or even like iCloud keychains, they're not really able to if they stepped up the security to two-factor authentication. That was like one of the crux of the password manager that Brave has for me to switch pretty much completely over.
Cool. Any other question from anybody?
Any updates on Brave playlists for Android, like when it's going to hit main build. I know I had some issues with in Nightly recently when I used it that I hadn't seen before.
I'm not sure when that's shipping, but I can check with Anthony and get back on that.
And that one, I do know where we're at with that one. So we're finally in a much better place. Basically, we had some internal things that we needed to kind of resolve, and so this is part of the challenge of doing things at Brave, and it's a good challenge. Is like we have to make sure that the things are private and we have control over it. So basically, what was happening is we have a working integration. It's in Nightly. We added support for HLS. And so the HTTP live streaming, and so that's needed for quite a bit of content. On desktop, you don't need it because desktop doesn't support it. But for Android, there's native libraries that it was using, and those libraries were going over the system network. So if it goes and resolves a DNS entry, it would be resolving it over the system, which would give up basically the DNS. It would leak you if you were using DNS over HTTPS, and so we opened up an issue in the Chromium backlog, and they kind of just made it private and ignored it. And so we have a workaround for that so that we can respect and use the Chromium network stack. So that way we control the actual network calls being made. And if there's DNS resolution, it happens on the way we want it to. So we had a couple things that we wrapped up. One of them I think has probably been talked about is we had ZPay and some other things that we had to get out of the way. So now we're back on the playlist because it's this small group of folks here. And so they're wrapping that up, and we should be able to get the blessing for our principal engineers and make sure that everything looks okay. Then that would be a Nightly. I think we're going to try to get 160, I think is our release that we're targeting. Maybe we can get a little bit earlier. We'll see. But yeah, it'll definitely be a Nightly soon. The version which has HLS will get us basically more than just YouTube and Vimeo. It should get like all the sites that we want. And that's been the challenge because, when we go to the store, we don't want to basically have something that only downloads YouTube and then submit it to the Google Play Store. If they say, hey, that's weird, the only thing it downloads is YouTube videos, interesting. And then we say, well, it's not downloading, you can watch it when you want to watch it. And they'll say, well, I can see the bytes come across or whatever. Why doesn't it work for other sites then? So once we get this concern, that's what the last concern has been. And so definitely thanks for your patience on that one, everybody.
That's great.
Yeah, thanks for the update. I know in Nightly recently I had issues with it, like not being able to do full screen, and then if it wasn't full screen, cutting off the edges, and also having issues getting it to actually transition it to being offline. But I don't know. I'm sure those will get worked out before main build.
Yeah, once we get to the actual formal QA process, I think there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. So definitely just keep an eye on the 1.60 branch, which I don't think it's created yet. That's going to be probably tomorrow that we create it after we merge Chromium 117. Then we'll have this new branch that becomes main or master basically, and so then that's where we're going to try to land this code.
Cool.
Awesome. I think we got two hands up. C-Ray.
Well, I know I was debating whether I was going to go in or I was seeing B Cryptos. I don't know if Carlos or Clifton would have that answer. They were saying when they tried doing the DApps via Android that they're not able to connect via the other wallet. Brave Wallet stops it. So do we have an answer to that? I didn't look yet.
Looking at the default settings, I think it.
I wouldn't be on it. I use iOS. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know I'm desktop and iOS too, so it's like
No worries. I'm thinking about getting now the prices are going down on Solana phone, but we'll see. Maybe I'll go to Android away. I know Luke is loyal.
Yeah, I love it. I don't see. I can check. I don't know if James is. I don't think James is here either. Let me check back on the team and see if we have plans on making that easier to like on desktop. We just have a default setting where you can go in and turn on or off, and I'm not seeing that obviously on as intuitively on mobile. So let me check back with the team on that one and get back to you. Yeah. Or go ahead, Siri, if you have. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had gotten sidetracked and I don't know. Clifton, I will ask you, do you have any idea why the browsers, like when people go to browser leaks or to these other websites, it's able to tell us exactly what ad block filters we're using, what APIs are connected, the whole bit. It's basically able to tell us everything about our system, even when you have fingerprinting blocked. It's been driving me nuts. I've been asking for Pete Snyder to come around, but he's not responded to emails, and Luke hasn't been able to get him on yet. Just was wondering if you can help clarify that a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I was just about to say that would be his wheelhouse basically. So, um, just taking a guess here, there are some things where some of those sites they're not entirely reliable because it'll say, "Aha, you're getting fingerprinted. We can tell you have this data," but the value that's actually being shown a lot of times is not the real one. Now, if you're seeing like a list and it's showing your list and you're manually verifying your list, then that's definitely not good. And we should check that out with Pete Snyder and see like maybe you turn shields off and then it wrote a cookie and then you turn your shields back on and then it's it was able to save the cookie because it has expiry in the future. We'd have to look at that case. Without having the steps to reproduce it, we wouldn't be able to troubleshoot it. So as long as we had that info, but if you go there and you see that, aha, we fingerprinted you, your WebGL thing is showing this value, we will try to spoof it to just make it look like we're somebody else. We're providing random values for some of those things, or we might always provide the same value every single time so that everybody using Brave looks like the same person. There's different strategies for that, and that's where Pete Snyder would have to step in and be able to talk about those.
Okay, yeah, and when I went, like I said, I had added new extensions and everything that listed exactly which extensions I had been using. When I updated, even from one version of Brave to the next, it was able to tell me exactly what version of Chromium and everything I'm using. It was able to let me know what operating system I had. Like I said, lots of details. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff's passed in the headers of the requests and responses that are going out. But some of these sites too, I remember because back in the day, I worked on a bunch of like trying to kind of get around anti-ad blocking stuff in the browser, and a lot of times they would have you could run checks on certain requests and see if they errored out or not, and then determine, okay, if this errors out and it's specific to this one list, then we infer that you're using this or that. But yeah, I'll work to get Pete on here too, and maybe I'll have see if Ryan Brown wants to join too. They both joined about a year ago, I think, on one of these calls. But I'll bug him again to see if I can get him on maybe next week.
all right, awesome, thanks.
Yeah. I think Arnyaka and then Bat Nicholas, and then we'll call it a day.
Thank you. I was one of the affected people in Gemini with like the integration and so forth, and before I was flagged for I think it was just like a false positive, and now it's working. I was just looking through the statements, and I noticed that there hasn't been any like increase in assets for the months that I was affected. If there's people who have been affected by the Gemini operations, would they see the assets increase this month?
Like if they got settled out the payment.
Yeah. So for example, I think it was from June, July, and August, I was affected, so 3
Uh-huh.
months, and the BAT assets hasn't been updated to reflect the amount of BAT that should have been earned. To me, it doesn't really matter since it's only like $1 worth of BAT, but for those who use Gemini and BAT, they may be a little bit peeved um, if if their assets weren't increased through the false positive. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I can see where you're coming from on that too, and I think some people answered in the chat too. It would be basically from the date when you get resumed, like all that time where you're flagged. I don't think it would be. I don't think we would like retroactively reapply the balance, if that makes sense. I don't know if Christopher's still on or not, but
okay, because I remember in previous meetings it was mentioned that those who have been falsely flagged would see their assets increased back to whatever it should have been, because it was saved within the Brave I can't remember, the Brave browser, Brave rewards system.
yeah, let me see about your case because it was multiple months. What the deal is there, because that might be a different answer. But I'll follow up with you offline if that makes sense.
In fairness, the communication I've heard from like support was, those months were just kind of gone, but that doesn't mean that is set in stone.
Got it. All right. Yeah, let me double check. Oh wait, no ads were shown while flagged. Okay. Yeah, let me double check on your case, Arnyaka, because it was multiple months. But let's see. Bet Nicholas, you had a question.
It wasn't a question. I just more so wanted to let everybody here know that, I mean, a lot of people here do know, but I'm going to be hosting a Brawlhalla game event this Friday. It's going to be on the Bat Brigade Discord, 6 p.m. EST, 10 p.m. UTC. It's going to be a team 4v4 battle, and everyone takes home something. The 40 SBAT prize is split 75% between the winners and 25% between the losers. So no matter how good or bad you are at the game, if you just picked it up or you've been playing it for years, you get something from it. You know what I mean? If anyone is interested, of course, you could go to the Bat Brigade Discord and RSVP in the events section, or just directly ping me in the events channel. Yeah, it's the first time I'll be hosting an event, but hopefully it all goes well. I am a little tiny bit nervous, but I'm sure it'll all go smoothly.
I love it though. No, that's awesome to hear. And
yeah, do you play Brawlhalla, Luke?
I haven't, but maybe I should. Maybe I should join for this.
Yeah, you should join. You should join on Friday. It'd be nice to see who beats up who.
All right. Let's do it. Cool. Well, thank you guys. We're 2 minutes over, so just want to make a huge thank you to Clifton for coming in and answering questions and getting to know everybody. Really appreciate it, and appreciate you all too, everybody else here. And we will be back 1 week from today, next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks everybody. Until then, have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.